Hi guys, welcome to Soul Connections. I'm your host, Jo Labbé, here with Star Nations Radio Network, care of Be Live TV. And we're in for a treat this evening. It's a chance for us to do some personal growth, some personal healing, as well as receive some divine messages from beyond. That's the best way I'm going to put that. So I'm using 2 card decks later after the meditation because a lot of you guys want to know what I'm using. So the first one I'm using is the Gaia Oracle. And this is, my favorite artist. So it's Tony Carmen Salerno. I seem to be using all those decks at the moment. And the second deck is the Sacred Earth Oracle, which is also by Tony Carmen Salerno. But this one is also with Leela Williams. So this is a slightly newer deck. So you may not have seen this one, but they're both fabulous. And they both read really well for the earth energy that's occurring right now. Because we're all in the middle of transition. And as we're going through this transition, we might need a little bit of guidance. My spiritual team began talking about this a while ago, but has become very vocal. So if you get an opportunity to read the latest Star Nations when it comes out on the 10th, yay, waiting so quickly. The Ancient One wrote an article through me, and it's all about our evolution here, our spiritual evolution, and how we're going to start adapting to things. And there's a whole bunch of that's coming forward in the next few months. And it's already started to transpire on my show, Chakra Sessions, on Tuesdays. So if you're here to learn something about how to deal with the ascension, how to manage what's going on with you with your personal gifts, you might want to start checking out Tuesday afternoons at noon. Even if you watch it in the archives, they're going to be chock full of information. And this week we talked about the 12 chakra system and how to connect to that so you can use more energy to help you move through what you're going through, because who doesn't need a little more energy? I know I sure do. So, this is the time of the evening where I'm like, guys, help us out by liking and sharing the broadcast. Get it out there on your page or any group that you might know, or even if you send it to someone who could use some through Messenger. This is an opportunity for people to do their own healing work. I'm just here as a conduit to help guide the entire group with whatever they need. And then after, just give some messages for the week and some guidance onto, where things are going. Because we all could use that. I mean, even I like having a card reading done once in a while because I get so much information so quickly. That may sound like a really good thing. But when you get a whole bunch, it's sometimes hard to know what's the next step because there's so much to accomplish. And then there's other times when you feel absolutely stuck, like you've got no idea what's next. And that's another time. So, we can all use a little extra TLC and a little extra healing guidance, So, and I want to give a big shout out to Neshi, who's here as my co-pilot. You guys maybe don't see her, but she makes sure that I know who needs a card reading and I get it done for you. For those of you who haven't done channeling work before, they use 2 different sides of the brain. My chit-chat, knowledgeable side uses one side of the brain. My channeling energy comes through on the other side of my brain. So for me to have to actually read too much while I'm in that state, it pulls me in and out. So we want to leave the channel as wide open as we can because I want you to get the fullest reading that you possibly can after we do the meditation. Sounds cool. So If you would like to get a reading done, most of you already know the drill, but if you're new here, all you have to do is say yes, please. And we'll make sure to draw the cards in the order that they are requested. So don't freak out, just kind of keep track on the comments and you'll know when your card is going to get read. All right, because Neshi is the queen of making sure that I stay organized as we're doing this show, because otherwise it wasn't bad back in the day when we were doing, 15, 20 readings a night. But now that we're up to, 45, 50 or more, yeah, I want to make sure to reach everybody. So this became our way of doing things. And it's kind of nice for me to have, Neshi in the house energetically while I'm doing so much stuff. Let's get the meditation started, because I want to make sure that we have enough time to do the all of the card readings that want to come through. And excuse me for a second, I have a cat that I need to stop playing under my feet. We all know how that is. So we got them going in the other direction. So to begin, we want to be nice and comfortable. We want to have our circuits wide open. And to do that, you want your arms and your legs uncrossed. Yeah. And I'm going to start making some clearing noises like that. So you might hear like little burping sounded. You might hear little squawks. That's all energy that's getting released for the entire group. And don't worry, it doesn't hurt me. I've had a number of people message me saying, did that hurt? And no, even when it gets super loud, it doesn't hurt. It's just it's a release valve. How's that? That's probably the easiest way to explain it. So arms and legs uncrossed. And if you can, try to keep your spine straight, because we want to keep our hara line wide open. And for some people, you may refer to that as the crystalline tube. And really, there's just this giant tube of energy, and we want to keep that wide open. I want to say hi to Paul, who just picked up Georgie for Neshi. Hi, Paul. Can't wait to see you soon. Springtime sometime. So, yes, keep your arms and legs uncrossed and back as straight as you can. So we're going to start by calling in the divine energy. And as we do that, we're going to take some really big, deep breaths. So as we take those breaths, I want you to breathe in really deep and then gently blow out. And you're welcome to make noise on the breathing as well, because sometimes adding an ah sound to it can actually get deeper into your belly, the belly part of you, because we don't want to hold on to any old stagnant air, right? So take another really deep breath. There we go, good. And as we call in the divine energy, we just want to ask that we're surrounded and protected in a bubble of infinite love and infinite light. And you can imagine this beautiful cocoon wrapping around your energy body, like a little force field. And if you like, you can also create a second one around the room that you're in. Sometimes we want to feel a little more guarded, a little more protected. Gives us space to relax and feel comfortable allowing the healing to happen. Yeah. And now let's call in our spiritual team. And call in the whole team. not just the ones that you know of. So call in your angels and your guides, your ancestors, any ascended masters, your animal totems, your mystical creatures, any of the star beings who work with you, all divine of the highest, fullest, and brightest vibration available to you in this moment right now.
Yeah.
And available to us as a group.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And now just take a moment to feel the connection to the divine as it comes in to work with you. So you may feel this tingling, this heat, this pressure above your head, at the crown, as the energy is ready to come in through that heart line, through the crystalline tube, and begin to clear and cleanse any energy that we're holding on to. And if you have an intention that you would like to set about your healing and what you would like to occur, you can do that right now.
Yeah.
Remember, your team is willing to help you with anything that you need and desire in your life right now. Nothing's too big or too small.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as we begin to call in the energy to come into the top of our head, near our sixth chakra in our brain, we're just going to ask that all swirling thoughts and ideas and memories, patterns, that gently just calm down. They can stay for you to remember if you need to. They don't need to be a distraction in this moment.
Yeah.
And really call all of your energy back into this moment. So if you have any energy stretched into the past, worried about what was, or hanging on to old baggage, really allow that energy to focus on your breath right now and your heartbeat. So you can be fully present for this healing this evening.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now call back any energy that's stretched into the future, worrying about what will be or what could be, or that to-do list that you have to do for tomorrow or this week, and just really bring your focus back to this moment, this breath.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And open up the communication between all of your senses, your five senses, your intuition, and even the expanded seventh sense, so that they're all working together as a team, so that have an inner knowing that allows your life and your circumstances to flow with ease and grace.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And ask that the communication be open between your divine helpers and also communication between you and others.
Yeah.
Opening your perception to the subtle clues, the body language, the messages that come through in flashes.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you the opportunity to tap into more energy in a fuller and more complete way.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And opening up your ears so that you can hear clearly and be heard clearly by others.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And then opening up your throat so that you are able to have the opportunity to speak your authentic truth, to release any ways that you've held back being who you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And at the back of the neck, just really opening up all the ways that you hold on to stress and tension.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ways we try to make things happen rather than allowing it to flow in divine timing.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Releasing all the energy off your shoulders, all the weight and the burden that you've been carrying. All the ways that you hold on to responsibility for yourself and for others. And just for the moment, allow that to slide off your shoulders and puddle on the floor where you can pick it up when we're done. But in this moment, you only need to be present for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now opening up your lungs. A lot of people are having difficulty with their throat and their lungs and their sinuses right now. And energetically, that's our heart and our throat and our third eye all clearing and cleansing. So allowing more breath to come in your lungs so that you may breathe your life fully.
Yeah. Yeah.
And opening up your heart.
Yeah.
And making space for all of the sadness and disappointment to gently dissipate, to dissolve.
Yeah.
And all the ways we restrain our love. And putting a gentle force field around your heart if you feel you need protection, so that you may release the walls that you've created to block yourself from giving and receiving love fully.
Yeah.
Accessing the high heart to fill in those places with unconditional love.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And opening up communication with your inner child and healing them so they're no longer carrying your burdens, your trauma. Giving them space to grow and stretch.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And connecting to the inner adult who is so busy doing all the time that sometimes they forget about the being. Releasing the stress and the burdens that the adult is carrying just for the moment. So that they may breathe more fully, more completely. Mm.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And connecting to your inner warrior, that part of you that is ready to take action, advocate for what is important to you and to the planet. That part that keeps you safe and has kept you safe for many years.
Yeah.
And just giving the warrior a moment of peace and tranquility. In this exact moment, there's no reason to be on guard or defensive. Rather, can just simply breathe and expand.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And connecting to your inner sage elder, that part of you that you've carried with you each and every lifetime, that holds all of the knowledge that you've ever accumulated, and expanding the connection so that you can have that inner knowing whenever you need it, with ease and with grace.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah.
And now moving into your upper belly, near your third chakra, and just really allowing all the energy connected to fear. Whether the fear becomes worry or anxiety,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
stress or overwhelm,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
any resentment or judgment energy,
Yeah.
whether you feel it or you've given it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any anger, even righteous anger that you may be holding on to.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And any energy that is collapsing your sense of self, your self-esteem, your self-worth,
Yeah.
self-confidence.
Yeah.
And taking a moment to connect with your inner critic. And feel that part of you that sometimes becomes a bully to you.
Yeah.
And releasing all the fear from the critic. Because when the critic feels safe, there's no need to attack,
Yeah.
no need to be mean or belittling.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
A lot of energy there. And now moving down to our second chakra, right below the belly button in that area, and just releasing any energy that is causing your relationships to be out of balance and out of flow. Whether there is more giving than receiving,
Yeah.
where there is an energy of control,
Yeah. Yeah.
And any energy that feels toxic or negative, any energy there that is in fear and not in love,
got it. Got it.
and really expand your ability to feel all of your feelings. Not just the ones we pick and choose, but the ones that are necessary in the moment. They're our radar, they protect us, they allow us to understand
Yeah.
when things aren't in balance. And they're a way for us to determine how to get our needs met. And how to meet the needs of those around us, if we are meant to.
Got it. Right.
And moving through your hips and really allowing the energy to take root and connect into your first chakra, below your tailbone. And here we release any energy that is still lingering, anything that causes us to feel ungrounded, out of balance, out of sync.
Got it.
Anything that causes us to not feel safe and secure.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it.
And just allowing all of your foundation to connect to the earth. And our energy goes down our legs, past our thighs and our knees, our shins and our calves and our ankles and our feet. And imagine the energy going feet beneath us, 3 feet, 6 feet, 10 feet. Now, as our energy combines with Grandmother Earth, asking her to compost and cleanse and release all that we are ready and willing to let go of in this moment that no longer serves us, to make room for beautiful new creation energy to enter. And then we invite Grandmother Earth to fill in all of the spots where we've released energy, all the nooks and crannies, with that warm, nurturing, divine, feminine energy. And you may sense it as warm or thick like honey. Some people experience it more like mud coming up and cleansing. But just allowing it to move up through your feet and your legs. To cleanse and restore and heal all in the same moment. Filling in our legs and our whole pelvic floor. this giant bowl of creation energy.
Got it.
And calling that energy up to our belly button and just beginning to help our organs to run smoothly and fully.
Got it.
And bringing the energy up higher into our belly. And gently helping our pancreas, our liver, our gallbladder, our kidneys, our stomach, our spleen. It works so hard when we're stressed.
Got it. Don't I eat now? Got it.
And then calling the energy up into the lungs and the heart. Moving through all 4 chambers of our heart and our lungs and expanding into our heart chakra. Connecting to our higher heart chakra as well. So that we can hold even more love for ourselves and that we may share with others. Releasing that spot in the back between the shoulder blades, allowing us to feel held and supported. Allowing the energy to move down the shoulders and arms into the hands.
Got it. Don't I eat now?
And moving up the spinal column into the neck. And as it moves up through the neck into the head, just opening up all the ways for us to speak our authentic truth and be our authentic selves, and to perceive others in their truth, in their soul. And allowing that energy to reach the top of the head and begin to cascade down around you, cleansing, restoring, and repairing your aura in each level, each dimension, and each direction. Not limited by our knowledge, guided by our spiritual team who understands this more fully.
Got it. Got it.
And repairing near the left wrist and the left big toe. And behind the neck. And near the left ear.
Yeah.
And then back of the rib cage. In the physical layers and the emotional layers as well. The mental thinking layer. and the spiritual layer.
Got it. Got it.
And even through your past lives and karmic debt.
Got it.
And now take a moment to send healing energy to Grandmother Earth, thanking her for loving and supporting us, giving us shelter, food, water, and beautiful air to breathe. And being here for us each and every moment of each and every day. And take a moment of gratitude to your spiritual team for being here with you this evening and each and every moment of every day as well. Guiding you, assisting you through all aspects of your life.
Good night. Deep one.
Now take a couple of deep breaths and bring your attention back to the moment, back to your breath. And you can begin to stretch or yawn if you need to. Just allowing yourself to feel fully present. You might want to rub your hands together, rub your feet on the floor, whatever will help you bring your awareness back. All right. Okay. So we're about to do the card drawing. So if you would like a card drawn or a reading, make sure that you type in yes, please. And I'll read them in the order that they are listed with the help of the beautiful Neshi. All right, so we're going to start with Rob. I'll start with yours, Rob, since you're doing the asking. So your card, my dear, is motion. I don't know if you can sense all the water energy that is in this card, but there is a lot of water. So the motion card is a reminder that when we stay still, our energy gets stuck because we're in constant motion. Our energy is constantly changing. If you took a snapshot in 1 second and then a snapshot in the next, it would be different. So there are some ways where you have fallen into some regular routine patterns. That's not a bad thing necessarily, but sometimes it can block us from creating change. We get set in our ways, is how I'm hearing it. So it's time for you to stretch and create some motion. For me, when I start creating motion or I feel that stagnant energy, I start with the basics. I start looking in my closet and seeing what clothes can go, what doesn't fit me, what I don't like, and I donate it. I go through my cabinet with all those crazy plastic containers, and there's always more lids than there are bottoms. And I match them all up and I get rid of the extra ones and I put them in the recycle bin. Anything that will start moving energy for you. And you'll notice that as you do that, new energy comes in right away. I have a little story of that. this week, I've been shredding old documents, especially, you know, I had clients who came once, you know, 5 years ago. I don't need to hold on to their file anymore. I'm not bound to that. And so I'm shredding all this old energy. And as soon as I get a dozen shredded, then I'm getting a phone call for somebody who wants a new appointment. And it's happened over and over again as I've been doing the shredding. So that's the type of thing that can happen, is that new stuff comes in right away, especially when you hold the intention that you're trying to create motion in your life. So there you go, my dear. All right, Julie. Julie, your card is clarity. Isn't that an interesting card? So the clarity card is about opening up all of your abilities in your psychic sense. And I want you to expand your possibilities beyond just the third eye for your perception. We have channels of connection that come through in many different ways, and it's not just your third eye. You get a lot more perception, a lot more clarity when your crown chakra is wide, wide, wide open. So when those two gang up, you get a lot more juice and a lot more information. You also have what's called the aha point, and I talk about it in Tuesday's lesson. That is sort of at the base of the skull. And that is another place where sort of the divine energy sends in this awareness and this wisdom in a like flash, kind of like that light bulb that we would see in cartoons. And when those are all open, you're using not only your pineal gland, but you're using your pituitary, and you're using 3 separate energy centers to expand your perception. So imagine how much more energy can flow through just doing that. And so I invite you to expand your possibilities and clarity, because it actually will expand your gifts so they flow quicker and faster. And you won't have to work at it. It won't have to feel like work. You'll be able to take a deep breath. It'll be on and you'll be going. Does that make sense? So this would be, you know, really step up your practice. And I also think your readings will go much faster, which means you get paid more the faster you go. All right. So Andrew, you have been on my mind, sir. All right. Okay, your card is efficiency. Now, this may sound like an odd card for you. So efficiency is when we work smarter, not harder. A lot of people think that by doing and running around like a chicken with our head cut off is we're busy, 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 and that is when things will get done. No, and you know this, you know, deep in the back of your heart, you understand this, that when you're in the flow, everything will open the way it's meant to. So being efficient with your time, making sure that you're taking time to connect to your spiritual team before you do anything every day will help you create flow in what you're trying to create. So I'm seeing you creating a new job, a new living situation. There's a lot of big things that are trying to be created in the moment, and they're all like this close. But right now you're spinning, and so you're sort of swirling around and you can't even see it's right there. So if you ask your spiritual team to sort of propel you toward what's waiting for you, and then get out of your own way, you'll actually feel less frazzled, and way, way more gets done. Like 10 times more than when you're running around trying to make it happen. Does that make sense? And don't let other people bully you in trying to make it happen. That's the other piece. All right, Christine. You are on my mind, lady. I have so many cards for you. We need to chat. So your card, my dear, is renewal. So the renewal card is perfect for the new year because it is a time where brand new energy is flowing through. There are new ideas ready to be birthed, new creations ready to be explored. And it's a recharge your battery time. So be mindful of taking care of your health right now, because when we go through the renewal energy, if we're not careful about things like our rest and our water intake and our food and our exercise, sometimes we, need to have a sickness, an illness for a little while so that we stop and allow our body to recharge. And I'm not seeing that for you, but I'm hearing it. So it's kind of like a reminder. Make sure you're taking time to connect and allow that new energy to flow through. I see lots of cool creations coming from you, so that's very exciting. Not really surprising, but exciting. All right, Joanne. Joanne, you have the perception card. So the perception card is opening and expanding your intuition, like quite literally. I don't know if you can see in the picture. It's probably hard to see, but on her forehead, there's even a little sign where the third eye is trying to activate. And she's doing a mudra, which is a hand position that is also meant to activate your third eye and your perception. And from that place, there's new things growing and new ideas coming through. So most of the time, the perception card comes in when we are a little narrow focused. When we are in a space where seeing is believing, for example, then if you hear it, you don't believe it. But you're going to hear it, you're going to see it, you're going to smell it, you're going to taste it, you're going to feel it, and allow all of those things to be connected to your perception and how you evaluate decisions that have to be made. The big theme from my spiritual team has been it's time for us to take action rather than to live in reaction. So when we simply are waiting for the next bad thing to happen, then the next bad thing happens. But when we are open to all possibilities, then we can take a moment to think and then take action. And that's where true clarity and perception come in. So expand all of that and notice how it will shift for you. That's beautiful. All right. Anne. So you have the rising above card. This is a dove. And whenever you see birds, they're transformational, but they also are usually telling you to have more clear perception. Seems like a theme already. So the rising above is when you can have an objective point of view. When you sort of pull your own energy out of a situation and you evaluate it, then you can have clarity. It also gives you some freedom to make some different choices. And that's when the true solutions will come in. When we're down in the muck, then we're acting and reacting from our survival place. When we're worried about our survival, we react pretty heavily. When we're up in our heart chakra, when we're up in our third eye energy, and we're scanning the whole situation, then we really can have a clear solution come through, and it gives us a lot of freedom. We don't feel trapped. When we're in the lower energy, we feel trapped into making a decision rather than allowing the solution to just appear. So there's this little bit of a pulling back and forth for you, like other people are trying to pull you down. So just make sure to soar above the energy as you're coming to decisions, because you'll find the solutions much faster, and they'll be in a heart-centered place that'll be good for everyone. All right, Rochelle. Ah, nice. So your card is potential. And I want you to notice the child within the woman. Right around the heart, there's a child's face. It says a lot to it. So in this card, the potential is the inner child is the part of us that actually has the most magic in creating things for our lives. And so when we tap into what our inner child wants and needs, then we actually expand the possibilities. Our inner adult makes things happen. They get things done. Our inner child creates new possibilities that we've never thought of. The inner adult does things the same way we've always done them. The inner child says, this isn't working, and I can create a new way of doing things. So open yourself up to connecting with your inner child and looking at the potential beyond the way you've always done things. So this is another theme. You know, we get stuck in doing things the same way over and over again. This is an opportunity for you to shift that. We get very comfortable with our routine, but at the same time, we feel very stuck when we're in that type of energy. So use your inner child and connect to them and see what potential you can create. All right, Jill. Oh, Cindy Lynn, sorry. On my list, it says Jill, but that's okay. So I got to save this card because that's Jill's. All right, Cindy Lynn, no wonder. Your card is ready but waiting. As you wait for me to pull a card for you. So Cindy Lynn, the ready but waiting card is that you have all the tools in place, that you have all the skills you need, that you have all the spiritual gifts online, and they're all ready. But the movement forward is going to happen in divine timing. And sometimes this is a lesson in patience. Because our lower self wants to make things happen, and they want them right away. We want that instant gratification. But some true things need patience. And the bigger the spiritual thing, the more humble and patient we need to be. Because when we're in that place where we're not worried and we know that all will be fine and we will be taken care of, and it will be even more amazing than we ever imagined, that comes when we're willing to wait. And patience is a huge spiritual lesson that we have to go through over and over again. But it's showing that there's nothing you need to do. You are completely ready. So just wait for the opportunity and invite it to come in divine timing, because then it will. And And the more patient you are, the quicker it'll come. All right. Now we're on Jill. Okay, so this is the preservation card. So there's a protection of the inner child underneath, yes? And you see the inner child in the womb? So the preservation card can be a little daunting, you know, because there's this skeleton with this black shroud, but there's this inner child beneath. And what's happening in this energy is there's an old you that is shedding and a new you that is birthing forward. So the old you is still sort of hanging on and protecting the new you that's about to be birthed because it's not fully formed yet. But this is about preserving your energy. So I know you've had a lot of health issues recently, but this is about knowing that that is part of the health issues were the toxic shedding of the old you. And some of those toxins were pretty heavy duty. But all of that shedding was to pull this brand new, pure version of yourself forward. And so you're in this moment right now of keeping that part of you safe. So make sure you're doing the things like following up with your doctor, and making sure that all your medicine is in alignment, that type of thing. Not in a scary way, but in a, you know, I am holding on responsibility for this new me that's about to be birthed. So how cool is that? It's about time, right? About time, my dear. Glad to hear it. All right. Christine. Your card is perspective. What a lovely card for you. Notice she's looking down on the earth in her hand. So the perspective card is that sometimes when we're in things, we don't have any perspective, right? Because we're right in the muck of them. When we, does this sound familiar? When we get a higher view, when we open our perspective so that we can, our perception, so that we can look at things from a higher vibration, we don't have to go into all that fear. So this is, again, a card that is saying it's time for you to get a higher perspective, move to higher ground energetically. And the way we do that is we move out of our fear energy and we move into our love energy. And we love whatever's right in front of us, even when it's a challenge, which is easy to say and hard to do. But the more we can find the gift in what is unfolding, the more quickly it unfolds and we can move forward. If we resist the energy that is shifting, then we get entrenched in it and we have to stay in it a long time. So this is calling your energy to move up through into your heart and actually use a more full sense of your intuition to help guide you. So again, I'm hearing use all 7 senses, which is not something everybody hears every day, but you're going to be hearing it from me a lot. All right. Okay. Our next card is for Barbie. So this is the purification card and it's specific to water. Okay. And so she is being open and vulnerable by being naked in the water. And in this purification, this means you're going through or you're about to go through sort of an emotional cleansing. And that can be a lot of crying. That can be a lot of anger. But it's a shedding of old energy that you've held onto that you don't need anymore. And what happens after the purification is you feel revitalized, you feel recharged, like, whoo, that moved a lot of energy. So if you have, particular energy that's trying to move, there's different exercises that can help with that. I know that for needing to cry, I just watched that Hallmark channel. I don't know if you have that, but there's always, some sort of sappy story, but it always has a happy ending. So it gives you a good chance to get a good cry out, but it's always happy at the end. It's always this fairy tale kind of ending. And you feel good afterwards. It's a good cleansing cry. And if you've got anger, don't be afraid to take a pillow and whack your bed, punch the pillow, punch the back of the sofa. I have my students get those little plastic bats that they have at the dollar store and whack it out on their bed or whack it out on the back of their sofa. Something that's, you don't want to do wood on wood because you can hurt yourself that way because it's not forgiving. But just really opening up your throat and like letting it go. That can be really cleansing. Yelling all the things that you would like to say to people, but we don't. It's not nice. It's, and just say all the nasty stuff that you want to, and nobody's judging, but it's a way for that to release so you don't have to hold on to it anymore. And if you need other ideas, just message me and I'll help you out. All right, Robin. Your card is called Fragments. So this is a little bit different for you. So the fragment energy is that you're actually in a place where the puzzle isn't complete yet. It's not time for you to make a decision. It's not time for you to take action because you don't have all the pieces to the puzzle yet. So we get a little impatient when we want to move forward and we want to take the next step, but things have to fall together for that to happen, for the divine energy to come together. And it's all coming to you, but it's coming to you in bits and pieces that you can manage, that you can handle, so that you have the ability to integrate it. And when you can integrate all the fragments into a whole new piece of you, then you'll be able to take action forward. But lots of times we get a little antsy-pantsy and we want to do things faster. Like, we're looking at our watch because we've got a deadline, and that's just not how this one's going to go. So don't make any big decisions right now because you do not have all the information. That's the big thing. If you're thinking about buying a car or buying a house or something, don't wait a week or two until everything kind of settles in, because you don't have all that you need to make any kind of informed decision. All right, Leah or Leah. Your card, my dear, is Context. So the Context card is similar to Robin's card. It's when we have information, we need to make sure that we know where it came from. I have seen a lot of people, we have people who go door to door to sort of like convert you religiously. And I get a lot of those because, my sanctuary is next to my home and it says spiritual and all sorts of stuff. So, I get a lot of that. And and they're interesting conversations. So I actually open the door and have conversations with people. And the the thing that happens a lot is that people will take a sentence out of context, and they'll focus on the sentence and act like that's the truth, but it's out of context for where it's coming from. So they're not understanding the whole picture. They're just focused in on one point. And so they're missing the actual truth behind it. So be mindful that you have all the information you need when you take action. Because there are a lot of times that people tell you what they want to, but it's not the whole story. So it's kind of like, make sure you know both sides of the story when it has to do with two people who are, fighting. But it feels much more like almost a business decision that somebody highlighted a contract for you, and what's really important isn't highlighted. Does that make sense? So you want to really look at the whole picture before you make a decision. All right, Jacqueline. So Jacqueline, your card is Hidden Path. The Hidden Path card is really cool because it is sort of the gathering together of spirit and your physical life. And often this is an opportunity for us to forge a new path. The way that others have done it before doesn't work for us. So it's time for us to create something new. Whether that's starting a business and creating a whole new way to market it because the way other people do doesn't resonate with you. It doesn't. So this is a chance for you to bring your physical and your spiritual life together in a whole new way. And you're going to sort of forge a new path. And just be mindful that when we're forging a new path, there are so many people who are going to be yelling at us that the path is over here, you're going the wrong way. And it can get a little, yeah, now she's doing this, And all I keep seeing is, the Wizard of Oz, like everybody's sort of pointing you the wrong way. When really it's all inside of you, right? So this is a time for you to build your spiritual strength and own what's your truth, and honor that other people might be nervous for you, but that doesn't mean it's your truth. Okay? So you're going to forge a whole new path coming up soon. So good luck with that. All right. Violet. Your card, my dear, is Brilliance. Look at all that lovely light and color. So the Brilliance card comes up when we're having a little difficulty with our own self-esteem. When we let other people shine more than we shine ourselves. And a lot of us women are good at that, right? So this is a time for you, sweetheart, for you to really find what shines and what brings you joy. Because when you step into your brilliance, you actually let the people around you step into theirs. When you only let them shine and you don't shine, then they actually can't shine as brightly, because they feel the difference between it. But when everybody's in their soul energy and they're in their inner light, there's no competition. That's the thing. When we let somebody else shine their light more than us, we feel like there's a competition. That's when we're in sort of our ego self. Our souls all just want to shine brightly, and we all have that. So it's time for you to own your brilliance, own your gifts, and let them shine, because other people need that light, sweetie. We kind of hoard our light sometimes, and that means we're leaving other people in the darkness. All right? All right. Jim, hey, Dad. How you doing? What a good card. The alchemy card for you. All right. So the alchemy card is the card of transformation. It's when you are going through a process when you're taking something that's, negative and stuck, and you're shifting it and transforming it into something new and bright and brilliant. And you've done this a lot in your lifetime, where you've gone into schools and businesses and helped them see what's not working and kind of realign them with their spirit, right? So there's just another opportunity for you to do this in a different way. And as you're doing it for other people, remember you're doing it for you. So the work that we do for others, with others, cleanses and restores ourselves too. So this is about you like really owning that you're transforming yourself. And remember to do it from a heart space, because when we're in our heart energy, we can really shift things even faster. All right. Talk to you soon. All right, Maureen. Perfect card for you. Evolution. Woohoo! All right, the evolution card is talking about earth changes, climate changes, transformation. You and I are about to teach this weekend, right? Heart chakra for those third-year students of ours. And this is really a transformation. This is a time where we're really accessing a higher version of the heart for ourselves, and then shining it and showing it and illuminating for our students. And how cool is that? And I love that this has 3 suns, because I feel like it's our 3 selves, our lower self, our higher self, and our soul self, all shining brightly in the way we're meant to. And we are all about evolving, right? And helping people move and ascend in every way that we are able to. So cool card for you. And we have a big weekend ahead. So I'll see you Friday. All right, Bobby. Your card is Night Wind. I don't know if you can see that. So the Night Wind card says facing fear, subconscious release, and healing. And, the Night Wind is, I keep hearing the winds of change are blowing. And the winds of change are blowing for so many of us on the planet at the moment. And the way for us to accelerate our change is when we start facing our fears. The fear energy drags us out of our love space, and it holds our energy hostage sometimes, because we get locked in this anxiety place. And when my team is talking about fear, they're talking about anything that isn't love. So facing those parts of us, I'm seeing like there's old beliefs that are ready to be shed. There's old patterns of behavior that no longer work for you, that don't feed your soul. There are old memories and events that you're holding onto energetically that are keeping you in the past. None of that's working for you. So allow the winds of change to blow through and shift and clear and move that energy for you and with you. Because when that occurs, we heal on a deeper level, on a fuller level, and that gives us an opportunity to sort of springboard into a fuller version of ourselves. So just because it may feel like it's in the darkness. Sometimes we even hide our spiritual gifts in the dark because we are afraid of them. So let that wind blow, because there's something beautiful underneath. All right, Natalie. Is Jera your middle name, is my question. I had a friend in elementary school whose first name was Jera, and I've never seen it any other place, so that's really cool. So your card, my dear, is reaction. So the reaction card comes to us when energetically we're kind of hit in the gut. We got kind of a sucker punch in the gut, and we instinctively react. We don't take a moment to think about it. We don't use our heart to express what we want, and sometimes we lash out in that space. So either you're going to be in a situation where you have to face a reaction, or you react in a way you wish you wouldn't. But when we have this reactive energy come up, it's sometimes we're like, oh, I wish I didn't say that, right? But lots of times that reaction holds a lot of truth for us. And so the reaction allows us to go deeper and say, why did I react that way? Or why did they react that way? And we never have a reaction if we're in our heart space. Let me put it that way. We only react when we're acting out of fear and we're in our survival body. And if somebody else is in fear and they're projecting fear upon us, if we're in our heart space, we actually still don't react. So just be mindful that it's not to make you bad, because we all spend a lot of time in reaction mode, but this is a time for you to use the reaction to start healing and shifting and changing, so that you go, ooh, I don't want to do that again. And be a cool investigator. Like, why did I react that way? Or when was the first time I reacted that way? And how old was I when I was having that reaction? Because often when you react, you feel a different age than you actually are, and that can be an indicator. Okay? Great transformational work comes from that. All right, Minnie. Your card is Moonlight Goddess. No shock. Our Moonlight Goddess. So the Moonlight Goddess is, we're having some of this interesting dark, being in the dark energy, the moonlight energy. So Moonlight Goddess is, she guides you on healing any old repressed emotions. Does this sound like the reaction and all of the stuff that we've been talking about? So, but the Moonlight Goddess does it from a more knowing place. So it's like all of a sudden you feel the trigger, you feel the reaction, and you go, huh, what's that? And you can reflect on it, and you can trace it to where it came from, and you can heal it quickly. And this is reminding you to call on the energy of the moon to help heal you and guide you, because there is a very strong connection between the earth and the moon. We vibrate very much in sync. So sometimes we remember to cleanse and nourish ourselves in the sunshine, but we don't always remember it in the moon. And especially right now when we have so much darkness, because, you know, we're in that time of year, we can really call on the moon to help us, you know, and she's, you know, fresh and new right now. So it's a great time for that. All right, Allie. Your card, my dear, is listen. Can you see that spiral by her ear? Kind of like a conch shell. So listening happens in an interesting way. There's two different ways we listen. We listen to talk and we listen to understand. So this is teaching you. You're going to have some lessons on listening, because if you want people to hear you and what you're trying to say, you have to listen to what they're saying. And lots of times what they're saying is, I'm scared, I'm nervous, I'm anxious, and I'm projecting on you. And when you can hear that, you can say back, I hear that you're really nervous and that you're really anxious about that. And I apologize that you're having that experience, right? But you're able to keep yourself out of the other person's reaction. Here we go again with the reactions. But if we truly have our ears wide open, our communication wide open, and we're in our higher version of ourselves, then we can actually hear what's being said beneath the fear. And we can talk to that rather than combating the fear. Does that make sense? And it's also a good way for you to be heard. All right. Nirma, I hope I'm saying your name right, sweetie. Your card is healing, my dear. And see the rays coming out from the heart in the tree. The tree is important. So this is a card that is inviting you to reconnect with who you truly are. And we all are at the tree of life. We all hold and are anchored in our own version of that. And when we get to the heart of who we are, then we can start to heal the wounded aspects of ourselves and of our life. And so when this card comes up, it usually means that we've been busy being who other people want us to be and not who we truly are. So do the things that are creative that you love to do. Get outside in nature if you can. And really spend some time feeling, experiencing who you are, who's underneath, who's the authentic version of you. Because, you know, we often only put out one or two versions of ourselves, and that's not our full truth. So this is inviting you to bring out you in this new year, especially. All right. Thanks for coming to the show. Julie, your card is Fortitude. Fortitude is a great card. Can you see all the animal totems and the horned man? And there's even the, I don't know if it's a fox on top. And I mean, there's just so many animals in here. There's an elk and an otter and a falcon and yeah, just tons. So fortitude is really about finding your inner strength. And I run into difficulty because this is about connecting to your full totem, your full animal totem in particular. And the animal totem corresponds with our chakras. There's an animal for each chakra. And each one guides us into who we are and how we are meant to be. And So when we have fortitude, we're calling on all of our strengths. We're calling on all of our spiritual team. And in this particular case, we're calling on all of our animal totems and all that they represent to help us move through difficult situations. And fortitude is not, you standing there and withstanding punishment. This is you having that inner strength that is unwavering. No one can bend or break you when you have fortitude. And this is calling on your spiritual strength for you to move forward. And this is not about power, is kind of what I keep wanting to say to you. It's not about, oh, I survived this or whatnot. This is about that inner strength. And that inner strength comes from a higher place. Fortitude is much higher than, being able to withstand things. And so really call on your energy for that. And I'm really seeing a bird connection. So if you've done a meditation to connect to like an animal totem, I would call on your bird, because I keep flashing between a hawk and a falcon and an eagle. And they kind of morph back and forth. So you could even do a meditation to see what your bird animal is, because that's the one that'll give you the higher perspective. All right. Anita, your card, my dear, is, it is that. Okay, productivity. I'm like, is that the right card? Yes, productivity. Notice that there's a young girl and a woman together. So in the productivity, this is a very fruitful time for you to get things done. Remember again to call on your inner child to help you with that. You'll actually be more productive if you are having fun doing your tasks. When we get stuck in the doing and we feel like, oh, I have to, or I should, or I need to, nothing gets done because it feels like a chore. But when our inner child can have a game of it, of like, let's see how much we can get done by lunchtime. Let's see how much we can get done by this time. Let's do this, report in crayon before we type it, right? That will actually allow you to accomplish even more and get more done. And this is a very busy, busy, busy time for you. So I see a lot moving, but if you can stay in your childlike energy, it will happen quickly and easily and way more than you can imagine compared to like all the doing. All right. I think it's Denise. Yes. Oh, Dennis. Sorry, Dennis. I'm in that other brain, so it's okay. So Dennis, your card is the Temptress. So the Temptress energy comes in when there's this flavor of seduction, a little bit of deceit, often broken promises. The Temptress is a type of archetype. And we all are able to sort of woo someone to, manipulate them to do what we want or how we want to do something. This has a lot of manipulation energy around it. So I'm being said, this is how it's being said, beware of shiny packages. So beware of shiny packages is, comes up usually when there's somebody who's like all glitzed out and they present this falsity that doesn't feel real. You're like, it can be a beautiful package, but something about it's not ringing true underneath. Trust that. And just be aware. I mean, because this is about a broken promise, and it's about deceit, and it feels like manipulation energy. So when we have that energy coming up, we can either go down the path with them, or we can just sort of go, oh, okay, that's who you are at the moment. You're in a sort of shadow version of yourself, and I don't need to go there with you. And we can learn a lot from that. And we all have times when we've been in that energy. So pretending we haven't is, not any better for our healing. But when we can face someone who's holding that energy and not take it personally and not go down there with them, it allows us to sort of build our inner strength, build up that fortitude that was mentioned earlier. All right? All right, good luck with that. Ah, yes. A new God thought for the week from the Water Lady. Of course, Ben. Your card, sweetness, is Gaia. Do you know who Gaia is? Gaia is Mother Earth, Grandmother Earth. And Gaia is about wisdom and knowledge and understanding spirit, just like you do, right? So this is a time for you to connect to Mother Nature. And Mother Nature can be a lot like a mom to us. She brings us beautiful flowers, and she brings us the grass that grows and the trees to climb outside and the wonderful animals in the forest. And so know that all of those magical things that you get to experience when you're outdoors are magical for you. And that magic you get to share with other people, because some of us grown-ups have forgotten the magic that is out in the beautiful forest. You probably need to become friends with Minnie, because Minnie still remembers how to tap into the magic of the forest. And she would be a good buddy for you. So make sure you take some time to connect. And remember, you get to talk to the fairies out there and all the tree beings and the plant beings, because you still can connect with them. And some of us grown-ups can't. So do that, sweetie, okay? All right. Lulu. Your card, my dear, is the flame tree. So the flame tree is a really cool thing, because this is the beginning of something new for you. The flames connected with the tree is that something that you're passionate about is about to take root. And it's going to start to build up in momentum. So just really do your best to stay grounded, is what they keep saying to me. Stay grounded through all of this new energy. So make sure you're doing things like rubbing your feet on the floor and focusing on your breath in the moment. Because sometimes when something new starts, we get excited, but it can almost feel like anxiety or panic. But this is all good stuff that's coming, and all this good stuff that's starting to move forward and starting to bloom for you. And the way for you to get the most out of the experience is for you to be in your physical body. Be in there so you can feel it and see it and sense it. You don't have to go outside of you to reach the divine. You can actually ask the divine to come to you. We actually have that ability, and it would be great for you to work on that. because then that will give you even more fire energy for this new project. Yay! Great for you. All right, let's see. Carol. Let's see. What does Carol need? Ah, the Enchanted Forest. I love this card. It's so pretty. The moon is so big. So the Enchanted Forest, you probably need to play with Ben too, is all about finding the magic and the mystery and the excitement. And that sparkle, that inner child sparkle, happens in the Enchanted Forest. And when the tree, there's a lot of tree energy coming up right now, and some of that is because we need new things to take root, and we need to be fully present and fully grounded and aware of what's happening around us. So in your everyday, take moments to comment and be thankful for the magic that unfolds. So, if you get 3 green lights in a row, I say thank you for each green light that I get when I'm driving. And you'll find that you get more and more of them because you're more and more grateful. But also noticing the little things. Like today I saw 4 hawks and an eagle. And eagles just aren't around here, so that was an interesting thing to see. But I saw hawks that were sitting in trees, and I had one fly in front of my car. And so it was clear that the outside world was speaking to me in messages. Does that make sense? So if we don't see those things, if we don't recognize them, and we're just like, oh my God, that bird almost hit my car, we miss out on, oh, what does hawk symbolize to me? And why would it be like, coming right in front of me? And why did I see so many, right? Because there's all that in there. And allow your inner child to come through a little bit more, because they're the ones who are really good with the magic and the excitement. All right? All right. So is this for Mitchell? Yeah. Okay. So Mitchell, you got the Goddess of Creation. So the Goddess of Creation is a really cool card because it's all about the creation energy, which is transforming. There's a lot of creativity, but there's also in the goddess energy, goddess and creation kind of go hand in hand. So there's a sense of wholeness and a sense of completion. So you're in a phase of energy right now where you are calling in a lot of shifting energy, but it's got a lot of creation to it. And when it's the goddess energy, I always like to remind you that you're connecting to the spiritual side, and not necessarily the doing side. Okay? So you're checking and connecting to the divine feminine in this energy, in this creative spark. It's not the divine masculine, and there's not anything wrong with the divine masculine. It's just not where the energy is coming from for this. So this is all female, feminine creation energy, which is accessible to men and women. And we tend to think we're one-sided. We only have one. It's like, no, we have 2 legs we walk with, right? We have two strands of energy we can connect to. So this is very much there's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of feeling, and I always think of, there's a lot of nurturing and unconditional love that occurs in this creative process. So call on that energy because it's really here and ready to take root for you. All right, Stephanie. I am probably not going to connect in mediumship right now. That's usually not what comes through when I'm in this session, but I will let you know. So your card right now is center. So the center card comes when we're out of balance, sweetie. And when we're out of balance, we're in like our thinking brain and our spinning brain. Lots of times we're trying to make sense of things that aren't necessarily going to make sense to us on a physical level. So in this place, you need to come back into balance and know that everything happens for a reason. Everything happens in divine timing. And, you know, our loved ones, you know, a lot of our elders, when one member of the tribe goes, the one closest to them goes next, because they're so used to being together that they want to be together on this side and the other. And so I feel like this has been a part of their plan. They wanted to go close together, or as close together as possible, because they didn't want to be apart. I'm not really sure what happened with the accident. I just feel a lot of heart energy that's happening. So this is just a reminder, sweetie, that you want to stay centered and focused as you can. And messages from our family on the other side come through in ways of communication that you will recognize. For me, I experience my grandparents by scent. I can smell them when they're near me. So my grandmother had this like perfumey powder that she wore all the time. And so when I smell it, it was one of those like big power puffs. The older people in the room know what I'm talking about. It was a big power puff, and you put it on and you used it kind of instead of perfume, probably instead of deodorant too. So it was this big poofy thing, and it got everywhere all the time. And that smell, I'll smell it and know she's here. I'll smell, you know, Old Spice and know my grandfather's around. When I see rabbits, that's my grandmother. When I see deer, that's my grandfather. And even the red cardinal can be my grandmother, but the red cardinal comes as my grandmother when my mother's here, because my mother experiences my mom in the red cardinal. So start to notice if you're thinking about them, what is happening around you. And there are times they can manipulate your radio station too, so that they're sending you a message. And you can ask for them to come to you in dream time so that you can communicate with them there. All in all, I know is they're doing beautifully and they're safe and lovely. Okay? All right. Mary Ellen. Your card, my dear, is the dream. So the dream is often that will actually, there's like number one, we often will have a dream, have dreams that are meaningful. But what happens in this energy is that something's sort of brought to light. You get some insight, you have a breakthrough, you're like, oh, that's what that's about. And for me, my team speaks to me in dream time all the time. I get downloads all the time. And then throughout the day, the next day, I start to have these aha moments. So this is that type of thing for you. So pay attention to your dreams, especially the ones that you remember pieces of. You don't have to remember the whole thing. The pieces are what's important. I have a notebook right by my bed for me to jot down those things before I get into my thinking brain. And it allows me to kind of put the pieces together later on what that means. And don't dismiss something because it's connected to like what you were watching on in TV. Our team uses things that we'll understand. And so often they'll connect it to memories that we've had and use those fragments to create the new story to give us our breakthrough. Okay? All right. Tina, your card, my dear, is the 9 of Hearts. So the 9 of Hearts it's a great card. This is all about harmony and things coming full circle. And there's also a layer of protection. It's very connected to the Earth Mama. It's when we sort of embody the Earth Mama, we become that person. We are able to take care of everyone around us and still have plenty for ourselves. We see the beauty in other people, in other things. And we're able to create from a higher heart-centered place. And that allows us to have a sense of fulfillment. Like we've actually accomplished something that's worthwhile. But I do want to emphasize the protection aspect as well, because in the 9 of Hearts, we're protected by the Divine Mother. So if you're having things that are making you a little nervous that you're working on, call on the Divine Mother energy to surround and protect you and guide you. Because this is all about creating harmony and love. And it's very much in the Divine Feminine energy as well. So call in that energy and use it. Because sometimes we don't want to bother. We don't want to bother them. And actually they're here to help guide us and move us forward. All right, my dear. Susan, of course you may. So your card, my dear, is Moonlight. The Moonlight card comes when it's encouraging us to be in that sort of wonderment of potential. Lots of times this is like planning a trip somewhere. It's about dreaming about romance. It's about creating some possibility that gets our heart singing. All of it is about getting our heart to sing. And so tap into the energy of the moonlight. We're in the new moon energy right now. And in this place, we can create brand new things and new potentials. And so this is about opening the doors of possibility. We may think that everything is dark around us, but then the moon is shining brightly to illuminate our way, right? And so we can see all the wonderment and all the cool things that are there waiting for us. And we thought it was all dark. So when we get caught in our negativity, we need to look for ways for the light to shine for us. So you can tap into the moon and the feminine to do that, right? Shine that light on that dark area. Nice. All right. Elfine. What a cool name. All right. So your card, my dear, is Apprehension. So the Apprehension card comes when we're stepping out of our comfort zone. That's what I keep seeing is like you're kind of like you're stepping out into the world in a whole new way. And we can feel vulnerable. That's when the naked cards come in. We got to be vulnerable. And when we're stepping out of our comfort zone, we get sort of our inner critic starts filling us with doubt and fear and starts getting really loud. But somehow on a soul level, we know we need to step out and do things a little bigger and shine a little brighter. And so it's okay to feel nervous. It's okay to feel a little antsy about stepping out. You haven't been out in this space before, but you're being divinely guided into stepping out of this space. It's like stepping out of the box somebody else put you in. And it can feel big and scary. But the reality is it's you're stepping just closer to who you are. And so there's actually this huge sigh of relief that happens when we do that. Every time we take that big, scary step that feels like a leap of faith, when I look back on those huge leaps of faith that I thought I took, they were like baby steps. They're really not so big. It's our inner critic that turns them into this Grand Canyon. All right? So try to release any doubt and fear, sweetie. All right, Diamond. So your card is Lost Love. So the Lost Love card comes to any time that our heart energy has been depleted. And when our heart energy's been depleted, we feel disappointed, we feel grief, we feel, heavy. And this is a time when you are meant to surrender and heal and release. So I love that you're asking about your marriage, family, and future. So I'm not feeling that the lost love is your future in terms of that. But what this is talking about is that when we step into a marriage, we become energetically a different person. As soon as we make that commitment, we become part of a new family. And so we lose a little piece of our old self that was, the child, right? Because we move out of child energy and we move into, more of a matriarchal energy. So in the goddess evolution, you go from, maid to mother. And sometimes when we take that step, we can have these moments where we're sad about, we're no longer in the good old days, when we used to go out and party and do all this stuff. So try to make sure that you're living in the present. Don't worry too much about the future. It's going to unfold the way it's meant to. It's always up to us where we are. So if you step into this marriage and family in a brand new energy and in your heart, don't go in with all the old garbage that you've carried around for your lifetime. Really try to shed that and step into your new energy. And this is about letting go of all that you used to love and stepping into who you really are. So this is a good thing for you, sweetie. All right, Martha. Your card, my dear, is Core. So notice she's holding her belly, but her heart's swirling and her head's like exploding energetically. So the core comes in when it's reminding us that we've spread our energy too far in too many directions. We need to bring ourselves back to the now. We need to bring ourselves back to ourselves, to be in our core. When we're in our core, we're able to speak our truth and we're able to be ourselves. So I have this energy feeling of you being spread in like 100 different directions, trying to please all sorts of people. And you're getting farther and farther away from who you are. So it's time to call your energy back home. It's time to call you back to you, and really try to come back into your heart space, your true heart space, and try to let go of the guilt that other people keep placing on you because they want you to do things for them. It's not serving you. All right? Let it go. All right, Rosemary, your card, my dear, is Sacred Heart. I love this with the flame there. So the Sacred Heart is when you access the energy, you have your heart chakra that is sort of here for the physical realm. There's the Sacred Heart, the high heart, which is directly above it, and it allows us to access the oneness consciousness, the divine energy. And so when you're being called to activate your Sacred Heart, it's about creating communication with others on a more spiritual level. It doesn't mean you need to have a spiritual conversation with them, but it's that you're accessing a higher form of love and understanding for them and creating a new, higher version of passion for what you do and what others do. And when we can hold that Sacred Heart space, we make room for other people to speak their truth and be able to be in the same energy with us. Many of us are here to lead the way and set an example. And that's what's being called for you to do, to really set an example by being in a higher frequency of your heart and showing other people how to do that around you. All right. Mary Bernard. Your card, my dear, is Rediscovery. I love this one because it's the inner child that's out and the goddess is in the doorway inside her heart. So the rediscovery is remembering your inner child, remembering what brings you joy, what makes your heart sing. You know, and if you haven't done anything in a while that makes you feel like that, go back and remember what you loved to do when you were a kid, and do some of that, even if it seems silly. Blow bubbles, use crayons. I had vision boarding happening here at my space last weekend while we had our open house. And people were getting all serious and, you know, putting words on and sticking them on. And I brought out the crayons. I'm like, your inner child needs to work on these. You all need crayons and colored pencils and stuff. And as soon as that happened, the vibration on everybody's energy shifted. And all the vision board energy shifted. What they were trying to create in the new year shifted because they brought their inner child in to play and have fun. And they were giggling and using stickers and glue and all sorts of things that we did when we were kids. And it's not that hard to do as an adult. So time to really rediscover who you are under there and start by checking in with your inner child because she's the one who remembers. All right, Kimberly. Your card, my dear, is Zen Sanctuary. Love that card. So the Zen Garden is about really returning to your inner sanctuary, finding peace within yourself. When we're looking for gratification from others, from our job, from, you know, our external world, we're looking for peace outside of us, we're never going to find it because we don't have the peace inside of us. So this is to remind you that that Zen feeling you want to have, that peaceful place, that hippie mama kind of energy that you carry, it all resides inside of you, sweetie. And inside of you is where you can find your peaceful place. You don't have to create it externally. And when we carry that with us through all that we do, we don't get frazzled, and we can really be who we want to be in each moment. All right, look forward to seeing you this weekend. Are you Sarai or Sarah? And it's interesting because my soul name is Saraya. So it's very close to that. Your card, my dear, is Unity. So Unity card comes in when it's time for us to gather our strength and come together. It's time to remember that we're a part of a bigger picture. Sometimes we hibernate and seclude ourselves and isolate, but that's not what we're here to do on the earth plane. Our lessons all happen in conjunction with other people. So it's time to sort of gather your community together, and that does not need to be your family. It's your soul family that you're trying to bring together. And in that place of unity, you want to bring unity within yourself. So you also want to balance your masculine and feminine energies, your physical life and your spiritual life. Because when we bring those back, it's like bringing the yin yang energy into balance within us. And that allows us to feel harmony, because that's what that is all about. We want to experience and be harmony. And that only comes on tap when we feel united within ourselves, and then we can create unity around us. All right. Teresa. Your card, my dear, is the Eternal Dance. Woohoo! So the Eternal Dance is when, my team always shows it when we've gotten a little stuffy. It's time to dance our way through our lives. You know, we kind of walk like zombie robots, one step in front of the other. And the goddess energy does not work like that. We are not like a military machine, sweetie. So this is all about creating movement in your life. It's about going down the path of least resistance. We don't always have to be the trailblazer. And this is about, you know, everything coming full circle. So everything is always in, you know, I see the goddess path as a spiral. It's always spiraling as it goes up. It's not just a straight line. And so as long as we're moving and trying to create movement in our lives, we are going somewhere. So this is about have fun and dance your way through things. Doesn't have to be exactly perfectly in line all the time. Start moving your way around and through it. And that's when the magic can happen, is when we're willing to dance our way through. All right, sweetie. Let me grab a quick drink. All right, Christy. Your card is Alliance. So the Alliance card, it comes in when it's reminding us that we can't do everything alone. It's time to create some allies, bring in some friends, bring in some colleagues, bring in your spiritual team, and start really remembering you're not doing this alone. We're never on this journey all alone. We are completely here with other people, and we are, we're here with other people. We just need to remember to let them help sometimes. You know, it's that delegation thing, right? And when you have an alliance, 2 minds are better than 1, and 3 are even better, right? Because you can create even more possibilities when you have more people working on a project. And there you go. All right. I'm so glad you came across my page. You can have a card as well. Feel free to like and share my page too, guys. Put my little plug in there. So your card, my dear, is intuitive communication. And the intuitive communication is when we need to get quiet. It's time to get quiet and hear what our heart is silently whispering to us. What is your soul trying to tell you? And we all can hear it. And I'm seeing automatic writing for you. Like if you're having difficulty hearing, the way I do that sometimes, because sometimes I got a lot of information coming in and it's hard for me to decipher it, which is just as hard as not hearing anything. So I will write a question like, what am I supposed to do about this? And then I wait to hear the answer. And then I write the answer that I hear, the first answer that I hear without question. And it allows me to communicate to my higher self and my soul. And yeah, then you can get, but you have to be quiet for that to happen. Okay? Okay. So Dora Lee, nice. Yes, you can definitely, I'm glad you saw my video and are watching. So your card, my dear, is the loss card. And the loss card comes up when you are working through some grief and some sadness. And grief and sadness are old emotional feelings that you've held on to. When we feel sadness in the moment, that's just in the moment, right? But grief is old sadness that we've held on to often for years and years, and we've carried it in our heart center almost like a burden. So this is a heart opening, a heart expansion that's wanting to happen, Dora Lee. And as that happens, it causes your vibration and your energy to rise up. It's like the more we're willing to release our grief, the more we're able to step into our own resurrection. And it's letting go of past hurts and not allowing them to control who you are in this moment. It's allowing you to release old relationship energy that doesn't serve you and it doesn't serve them, and allowing you to move forward. So this is a time to take inventory of what's weighing down your heart and find ways to choose to release and forgive and allow yourself, because forgiveness is for you. It's not for the other person. You forgive yourself for carrying this for so long, and that will lighten your heart and it allow you to sort of be reborn. Woo! All right. Terry, I'm so glad that you're new to the group as well. Of course I have a message. So your card, my dear, is influence. So can you see at the very top, there's all the phases of the moon? So the influence card comes in to let us know that we're always moving through phases in our lives. There's always this movement, and in that place, we are influenced by not only the energy around us, but by people, by circumstances, and we influence others. So this is a moment for you to acknowledge all of the ways that you're being influenced energetically, spiritually, and by other people. And you get to choose, believe it or not, you get to choose which influences you're going to allow to actually move your energy forward. And you get to choose when you're going to share your influence with others. Because I've got a sensation that, you know, for a certain amount of time, you kind of followed everyone else's lead. Now you're in a place where you get to choose who's going to be your influence. I feel like you're almost ready to step into choosing like a mentor kind of person to help you in this guiding situation. So cool. Go with your heart because that's where the information is. All right. Lisa. Lisa, your card is heat. Woohoo! Gotta love that Phoenix energy. I've got a lot of Phoenix energy myself. So heat is quite literal. It is the burning away of the old and it's the resurrection of the new. So you're in a place right now, sweetie, where some old stuff is getting released, and it may get released through fire. And generally, fire can be fiery emotions, often anger, but know that the heat is necessary, that the only way to stir this pot is to heat it up. Right now, there's a lot of muck in there. So it needs to boil, it needs to bubble over, and when that happens, it'll allow for this transformation to happen. It's kind of like when we hold on to resentment for a long time and we don't say anything and we don't say anything, and all of a sudden we blow. You know, it may not come out the way we want it to. I always think of it as sort of like projectile emotions. But at least it's out and it's not in anymore. So the heat will help release some of that old energy and just allow it to happen because it needs to. It's got to burn itself out. All right. Toya. Love that. All right, Toya. Interesting. Your card is the message. So the message card is really good news. It means that you're about to receive a message. And the message is all positive news. It's a positive outcome. It's like you've been waiting for something to happen and it's finally going to happen. And there's a lot of joy. It's like a gift from God. God's like, you've worked really, really hard, and now here's your token, what you want as a reward for all of this. So be on the lookout for the messages because they're not always in our face. They're sometimes really super subtle that they're coming in. But this is a great, great space for you, and it is great news. So I'm looking forward to that for you. All right. Kimberly, you want a card on relationship? Okay, so this is the Sacred Earth Mother card, my dear. And it's actually a very good relationship card because it's a message of love. So when the Sacred Earth Mother is coming in, it is all about accessing the divine feminine energy about love. This is unconditional love. This is the nurturing mama love. And when we step into a relationship and we're in this higher heart, because notice the heart in this is pink. It's not green, it's pink. Then it is about, you know, having a higher view. We're not in a relationship just to be in a relationship. Does that sound about right? So this is about, you know, really feeling your own love for you on a soul level and attracting that energy with someone else. Because how we treat ourselves is how other people will treat us. So maybe take a look too at your inner critic and see how noisy it's been, because that's what you will attract in a relationship. But if you start to have a good relationship with your critic, you listen to what they're saying, but you lovingly say, no, we're not going to go down that route again because that's not in my highest interest, then that's the type of relationship you'll call in. All right, good luck with that. All right, so Ellen, your card, my dear, is magnetism. So magnetism is a little bit what I was speaking about with Kimberly, which is what you hold inside of you is what you attract. We're all our own magnet. So if you are looking for attracting abundance, say, then you have to hold within you self-worth that allows you to have that to come in, because you really only get paid what you think you're worth. So when we value ourselves and we value what we do and we value our time, we attract more. And magnetism goes in relationships, in all aspects of our lives. So if you're attracting things that you don't like, then look at how you're holding that energy within you and shift it, and then you won't attract it anymore. And I really highly recommend Ed Langen's show that will be coming on soon, because he talks all about how to be the magnet and how to attract what you want in your life. And that's coming up on Star Nation soon, so keep a lookout for that. All right, Karen. Your card, my dear, is discernment. So the discernment card comes in when it's reminding you to really look at, don't just take things at face value, really look at the energy beneath that. When we have discernment, we can feel the intention behind the energy. We can feel and sense way more than what's just in front of our face. So this is inviting you to really discriminate and call on your higher self to make the decisions, because discernment happens from our higher self. It doesn't happen when we're in fear in our survival body. And it's getting curious around why you're attracting the response you're getting, or why this is showing up right now. And when we have discernment, we're not reacting. We're taking inventory and then using that to create and take action. Okay? So it's like having a little bit of a higher perspective as you're going through things, sweetie. All right. So Jenna, you have the Ganesha card. Ganesh in the feminine form. So Ganesh is really great because Ganesh clears away any obstacles that are in our path. Ganesh offers us guidance on what is coming in the future, and we also get a layer of protection with that. So with anything that's going on in your life right now, you can call on Ganesh. We don't have to hold that religious belief to call on the deities that have a particular vibration. And Ganesh loves to help anybody and understands that it's hard when we can't get out of our own way. So, you know, I've called on Ganesh to help me eliminate the obstacles I have around money, or the obstacles I have around being a writer, because sometimes we can't get out of our own way. We sabotage ourselves, right? So when we asked Ganesh for guidance and to help us remove those obstacles, then we also have that layer of protection that we're trying to move forward on our spiritual path. And as we're trying to move forward, we know that we're human and we cause chaos wherever we go. So sometimes we just need a little help, and Ganesh can be our ally in helping us do that. All right. And Jessie, your card is time. You've certainly waited for it. So time is, this card is to remind you that time is not linear. We can stretch and contract time when we are in the flow. It's all relative to what we're believing in the moment. So treat time like your ally. not like it's something you're working against. So sometimes we get caught up in deadlines and things have to be done by a certain time, and then we turn time into a bad, negative thing. Time can be a breath of fresh air. Time can be, I have all the time in the world to accomplish this. This is really the time for you to shift your view on time, and also to understand that, things happen in divine timing. We can't make things happen when we want them to happen. So this is a moment for you to remember that time is more circular than linear, and that we can wind it and unwind it as we need to. All right? Good luck with that, dear. All right, and Sharon, thanks for joining us. Glad you're here. So your card, my dear, is space. So the space card comes up when we literally need space. And part of that comes in when we overburden ourselves and we say yes to too many commitments. And what I'm feeling for you is that you need just space to breathe, sweetie. You're really just caught up in a time and place where things were taking your breath away, making you anxious, making you overwhelmed and stressed. So create space around you. Create space in your schedule. Create space in, I've set up time in my schedule for meditation and channeling. I've set up time in my schedule for me to get some sort of exercise. I've set up time so that I'm not rushing when I eat, because that was a big thing for me. I would rush. I was like eating, standing up half the time. And so that's not healthy, for me. And giving yourself some space where you have some peace and quiet away from other people. Because sometimes our nervous system gets overrun with everybody else's energy and all the noise and that we have around us. And so sometimes we just need that space. And, it's just time for you to do that. All right. Janine, your card, my dear, is moderation. I think that's a card for a lot of us right now. Moderation is, don't cut out the things that you love. This is, New Year's resolution time and everybody's going into diet mode or whatever. And then we cut out all the carbs and we cut out all the sugar. And then our inner child is like whining, right? Because they're not getting what they want. We can have everything as long as we do it in bite-sized chunks. And whether it's food, whether it's exercise, whether it's television time, whether it's computer time, we can do all of it and just be mindful to not overdo it. Sometimes we get a little gung-ho and we like when you first work out, if you go in and you just go at it like gangbusters, you end up hurting and you can't walk. So then you're not actually able to do it the next day. So, right? So take it step by step, just get out there and do what you can do, but do it in little bite-sized chunks. And that way you don't feel like you're going through withdrawal or like you're being treated like you're bad, like, oh, you're a bad girl because you had a piece of chocolate today. Okay, so you had a piece versus like a king-size candy bar. Good for you. That was moderation, right? So that's what we're talking about. All right. Oh my goodness. Woo! All right, Deborah, you always sneak in at the wire, my dear. So your card is balance. Can you almost see how it's like the divine masculine and the divine feminine are kind of leaning away from each other? And they need to stand side by side next to each other. So this is calling you to bring your spiritual, your physical life back in, and you really, really want to bring them into a place where they're working together. You're in that yin yang energy. And so just be mindful if you get into overdoing or if you get into overbeing. You know, there's that compromise. And like Janine is saying, you know, I can go all or nothing, right? We do that in all aspects of our life. We can get doing, and we're so in the divine masculine that we are out of sync with nurturing ourselves and taking care of ourselves. So this is about bringing your life and your energy back into balance. And it's a good reminder for all of us. And I'm glad you get it, Janine. Yeah, a lot of us do all or nothing. And that's kind of the black and white polarity mentality. And we're definitely in the gray. All right. So I'm going to give Neshi her card because, you know, she's been here the whole time. I know she's never asked for it. But her card is peace, which is what she needs right now after all of that. So this is all about dissolving unwanted or disturbing thoughts and returning yourself to a place of peace. You know so how well to do that. But just know that if you get any of the spinning, just call in the peace energy and let it melt right off of you. And with that, you guys, phew, we are done with Soul Connections for this week. I will see you guys next week. Please like and share this broadcast so we can get out there and reach more people. And thank you for helping me on my spiritual mission as I heal the healers by helping you heal yourself. And with that, guys, have a great night, and we'll see you next week.